Explained. Does the crew beat Vecna in the Stranger Things finale? What takes place with every character? Discover the outcome of the Hawkins crew's final conflict with Vecna and their current situation. Stranger Things concluded with a 2-hour finale event on December 31st, after 5 seasons. Following the release of Volumes 1 and 2 from Season 5, Netflix released the show's last episode, which addressed many of the viewers' most pressing concerns about how the epic narrative would conclude. One was how the team would confront Vecna, also known as Henry Creel, Jamie Campbell Bower, prevent him from fusing their reality with the Abyss and ultimately destroy the Upside Down. Fortunately, Volume 3 began exactly where Volume 2 left off, with the crew pursuing Steve Joe Keery, a scheme known as Operation Beanstalk, which entails scaling the radio tower in the Upside Down and waiting for the Abyss to get close enough for the tower to pierce the rift and allow 11 Millie Bobby Brown to enter Vecna's mind. As the guards, under the command of Dr. K, Linda Hamilton, started to figure out how it happened and where they may be, they had just burst through the military barrier into the Upside Down to start their mission. In order to use 11 abilities to penetrate Vecna's mind and prevent him from merging universes, Hopper, David Harbour, assisted 11 in getting into a water tank. They reached the young children, including Derek Turnbow, Jake Connolly, and Holly Wheeler, Nell Fisher, who were being kept by Vecna, known to them as Henry Creel, with the assistance of Max, Sadie Sink, and 8, also known as Callie, Linnea Bertelsen. After overcoming obstacles along the way, the crew, which includes Mike, Finn Wolfhard, Noah Schnapp, Dustin Gatmatarazzo, Lucas, Caleb McLaughlin, Max, Sadie Sink, Joyce, Winona Ryder, Robin, Maya Hawke, Steve, Joe Keery, Nancy, Natalia Dyer, and Jonathan, Charlie Heaton, manages to defeat Vecna and the Mind Flayer. However, the military has other intentions before they are safe. As the group's bomb to permanently destroy the Upside Down is about to detonate, they halt them as the team is returning to Hawkins. 11 decides whether to give her life while they are being captured. 8 came up with this scheme to make sure the military couldn't produce any more individuals with their unique abilities. The show then leaps 18 months to Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas, and Max's graduation day, following an emotionally compelling consequence from 11's choice. It also depicts the post-battle condition of the entire crew, including Hopper, Joyce, Robin, Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan, as well as their future. What happened to each character, and how did it all work out? Below is a detailed explanation of Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 3's conclusion. After what comes out, what happens to Mike and Will? While they wait for the worlds to approach, the two ascend the radio tower. Mike apologizes to Will. He remarks, "I should have been there for you, and I wasn't," in reference to Will's coming out as gay in Volume 2. "I feel like a fool. I guess I was just so self-absorbed. I apologize." He didn't comprehend it himself for a long time, but Will assures him that he doesn't need to apologize. "I think it needed to happen the way it happened." Will replied, "I needed to find my own way." He is informed by Mike that they are best friends rather than merely friends. Does Steve Harrington pass away? Many people conjecture about Steve's destiny when the show's makers disclosed that he was initially meant to pass away at the conclusion of Season 1. When universes began colliding, he had a near-death experience as the radio tower broke through the abyss. Steve was halfway down the landing when Jonathan suddenly grabbed his hand and pulled him back up as the tower shifted. "I thought you were toast," Dustin says to Steve. Later, while strolling through the abyss, Steve says to Jonathan, "I thought I was a goner back there. I owe you one." "Just because I don't like you doesn't mean I want you dead," Jonathan responds. "And I have a feeling we'll need you up here." Steve claims he doesn't hold it against him if he doesn't like him. "I can be a real prick sometimes." They then discuss their disagreements with Nancy. Will acknowledges that his issues with Nancy had nothing to do with Steve, and that it simply took him time to figure that out. He also expresses gratitude to Steve for supporting Nancy during Jonathan's stay in California. Steve acknowledges that he realized a relationship with Nancy wasn't in the cards because she needs to get out there, but he still wants to live in Hawkins with 6 little nuggets. Steve claims that having Nancy as a friend is preferable to having nothing at all. They both concur that she is special. Jonathan informs him, "I still don't like you. I wouldn't want any other way." Steve declares, "Why does Henry fear the cave so much?" As Henry approaches the cave, memories of his first killing flood back, and he begins to feel physical pain. As Holly guides the children to his next memory, he makes it through and begins to follow them. When they get to the location of his first murder, Will is able to access his thoughts and discover the truth. Henry is so scared. Watching Henry's past memories, Will notices that he opened the scientist's suitcase after killing him and found a chunk of crimson mind flayer that had entered his palm and taken control of him. You must resist it. The man cautions him. You will be consumed by it. It will devour everything. Henry then kills the man by striking him with his newfound abilities. It wasn't you, Will says to Vecna. It was never you. The mind flayer didn't want you in the cave because of this. It didn't want you to recall. Like me, you were but a child. It also took advantage of you. It brought it here by using you. Henry, you are a vessel just like me. However, you are able to battle against it. Please, Henry, don't let it prevail. No, Henry replies. It revealed the truth to me. It made me realize how broke the world is. That man is damaged. Vecna responds. It has never controlled me. When Will informs him that he is being controlled. I also have no control over it. William, you see, I could have fought it, but I decided to participate. I'm necessary for it. I also require it. We are a single entity. What happens to the mind flayer, and does Vecna die? Mike understands that if they harm the mind flayer, Vecna will become weaker and 11 will be able to destroy him. 11 dives inside the mind flayer, which is where Vecna is storing the young children's bodies, while they decide to split up and fight back, and eventually kill the mind flayer as it begins to attack. Vecna tries to grab 11 during their altercation, but Will uses his skills to divert him, preventing him from doing so. I'm not afraid anymore, Will declares. We're not afraid of you. Vecna's back is then driven into a spire by 11. Eventually, stuck on the spire, Vecna begins to cough. Joyce experiences flashbacks of all the suffering he has inflicted upon her and her family. She tells him, "You F with the wrong family," before decapitating him and killing him with her axe. Do the tiny children survive? After entering Vecna's memory, 11, 8, and Max arrive at Henry Creel's home, where he is housing the young children. The children initially believe Max is the monster, but she dispels their suspicions by allowing them to witness him endangering 11. Max guides the children to safety in the cave, but when 11 can no longer enter Vecna's mind, Max also vanishes, leaving Holly to lead her peers. Holly rushes back to catch Derek when he lags behind. Derek drags Holly into the cave for protection just as Vecna is ready to seize her during their pursuit through the forest. Derek tells Vecna, "Suck my fat one," and gives him the finger. After overcoming the physical discomfort that had prevented him from entering the cave, Vecna enters and begins searching for the children, while Holly leads them to the next secure memory. Holly retaliates against Vecna in the cave where his first murder had place. Then, just in time, 11 calls Vecna to the mind flayer, and as the crew vanquishes both in the mind flayer, they retrieve the children's bodies that had been stored there. After each child coughs up dark matter, they all awaken and reconnect with the team. Following in her brother's footsteps, Holly and a few of her classmates who were abducted by Vecna begin playing Dungeons and Dragons in the last scene. How does the Upside Down fare? Dustin radios Hopper to inform him that the noseless bastard's toast, and they are returning after defeating Vecna. So, what say you, old guy, turn up the music and permanently demolish the Upside Down? Let's leave this hellhole, says Dustin. With Princes When Doves Cry, play on the record, Hopper and Murray, Brett Gelman, set the bomb's timer and head for the Upside Down's exit. The military is waiting for both groups and apprehends them all as they are driving into Hawkins. Eventually, the record causes the bomb to detonate, eliminating the wormhole.